Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show, and I'm your host, Bob Waltenspiel, hanging out with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Randy Walker. We are recording here at the Detroit Podcasting Company, down at the Detroit Shipping Company, our brand new studio. It is a beautiful space. I enjoy it. Guest this week, Umelo Onyejiaka. Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did.
Been practicing all morning. He's a cloud engineer, and he's the founder of DevOps Detroit. And we got a lot of had a great conversation at a couple of meetups. I'm like, I got to have you on the podcast. So here he is. You can find us online, itinthed.com, and do us a favor, give us a like on the socials. Subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold. Don't forget our meetup is it'll be tonight if you're listening live, but it's March 20th. Meetup.com/itinthed. We'll be at the Detroit Shipping Company on the second floor in the Nino Brown room. Show up, no cover, no speakers, 5 o'clock until question mark. Just a bunch of IT folks. Bring a resume. Please don't bring a resume on that.
No.
I was talking bring business cards or don't. Like, it's all good. It's all about building friendships. It's not about selling stuff. So definitely won't be any sales guys, but look forward to seeing you all in person.
There might be sales guys. They just won't be selling stuff.
Overzealous. That's the thing. We were the stories for days about like, nobody cares about your green blinking lights. I should make T-shirts. The agentless browser guy that forever. I'm like, who are you talking to? Agentless browser. We could have a whole like segment on just networking. Speaking of networking, that's how I met you, Mello. How you doing, man? How are you treating you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Good. I got to call it out publicly before we get going. I'm jealous of your social media person. I told Randy as soon as you did that, I'm like, I got to step up my game. I go, we look like crap compared to the stuff you're putting out. But you was that the first event, DevOps Detroit?
That was the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was you just wanted to get people to like? So I laugh about DevOps, and I think Sec DevOps is even funnier. I'm like, oh, it's just development in the business world with security in mind. I'm like, oh wow, you got this fancy name, but for those obviously not in the know, what's DevOps to you?
So DevOps pretty much if you have an application and you're trying to take it to production, DevOps is the way to take it there. So that's where you have continuous integration and continuous deployment. So it's really helping you get from point A to point B to point C through automation and just like a solid infrastructure. So when there's errors, when there's problems with the actual application, it has to get remodified. It has to get approved. It has to get reviewed. So that's a lot of those things when it comes with DevOps. Yeah.
So with you being a cloud engineer in mind, is your mentality to like modernize legacy applications to fit into the cloud? I guess what is in terms of your mentality or what's your angle when you're talking about DevOps and dev in general?
So for me, I try to look what is the fastest, secure, and cost-friendly way, or what solution can I bring that'll like help, whether it's a company or just whether it's a personal project or whether it's a contract that I'm doing.
All right, right on. So you had your meetup last Thursday.
Yeah.
Or it was last Thursday. Give me an idea of the conversation. So I wasn't there. I know, because we had the data heads in and we had Aaron spinning off data in the D, which is cool. But with DevOps Detroit, what are some of the conversations? Is it best practices? Are we just making friends? Like, what? Give me an idea what you expect when you go to your events.
Really, just making friends. Like, I think the thing what's cool about it, even though it's like concentration of a DevOps, even though it's like a concentration of DevOps, I think all disciplines of tech is welcomed because DevOps is integrated with everything like AI, and AI in cloud and a blockchain. There's a DevOps inside of it. And it's just cool to just hang out and just like have that community of people just coming together. Some people are curious about DevOps that we ask questions. Some people that are in DevOps are curious about other things, and they can kind of like have conversations with other people in other sectors of the same field.
You brought up blockchain.
Yeah.
It was a dirty word here for a minute.
Yeah.
We had the guys that praised themselves as Bitcoin experts, and they spoke for 2 hours, and I couldn't tell you one thing they said. And I don't hear it as much as I used to. Like, what's blockchain to you today?
Blockchain to me today, that's a very good question. I can tell you what I know, because I know you're talking about some people that's it's like a whole code, but really,
I'm not talking about trading XRP. I'm talking about in the grand scheme of
yeah, just like in the grand scheme of things, I think about like Web 3.0. I think about like decentralization, a technology that isn't controlled by just one individual, but it's for the community. That's how I look at blockchain, and just like the possibilities that it can be, you can use it for.
I know it's here. I know it's not going away. I'm still not saying I'm not a buyer in it. I think it is one country has to make that their currency, or some form of ledger has to go official on it. And then I think you're going to see it kind of not take off, but you're going to see it validate. Because right now, people don't know what it is. Like it's like the cloud. And then when finally somebody said, after 15 years going, listen, it's just somebody else's computer. It's kind of like when pro wrestling finally said, yeah, we're fake. And then everybody just sighed in relief, and then we can go on with our day. I think that's what's going to happen with blockchain. Like people, like even techies don't know what the hell it is.
It's a lot of, because it's so much. Like I'm even hearing there's a Web 4.0. So I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but
what the hell is that?
I don't know. I mean, but the overall scheme that I understand is like it's a decentralization of technology that is way more secure.
I did see the tweet reared up today that the kid that was bitching about his 1,700 Bitcoin that he bought at 6 cents, sold for 30 cents, and it's at $8 now, and he was bitching on Twitter.
Oh man.
And I'm like, and I did the math, and it was like $163 million or something for 17 Bitcoin today.
Jeez.
And then the guy's like, his first pinned tweet is, guys, I'm fine. It's okay. I've gotten past it.
I've moved on. I've healed.
Yeah. But like, we have these conversations all the time. I don't mean to get down this blockchain wormhole, but we have these conversations all the time. That guy was probably doing backflips on the lawn, getting 5x return on a minimal investment. Mm-hmm. He probably bought a couple $100, bought 1,700 of them, and then now he's making $600, and now he's and now who would have known? We were talking about that before. If I would have bought it at 100, we would have all sold at 150, and we would have been happy about it. No one had any idea what this thing was.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't realize. I mean, it would get to the way it got to. Yeah,
and you look, the meme, like that's the thing that I think gave it a bad name is you have like these meme coins. Like once you had like the Hawk Tua girl putting out a meme coin, and it just made it this open currency. Yeah, right. Like, come on. And then when like Doge actually like took off, and Shiba, and people made money on that. We're like, oh my god. Like, anyway, enough about that. When do you meet regularly? I guess where are your meetups?
Okay, so our meetups are at Detroit Shipping Company. So right now we're doing bi-monthly. We'll also have like workshops. We should have another meetup actually in April 10th. That should be in the Madison building. But that is actually going to be a collaboration of other meetups and other organizations.
I don't remember getting an invite to you, Randy. News to me.
I don't know, but I didn't organize it. But
all right. We'll let you out.
Yeah. But I guess there's going to be like presentations for this one. But when it comes to like the social network aspect, like what we did last Thursday, which was like fire, which was amazing, which was pretty awesome. I mean, a great turnout. I mean, huge turnout. People were like, what is this? So we're going to do that. The next one will be May. And we'll have updates for that. If people want to find out, you can join the meetup group at DevOps Detroit, or you could look at the IG, which is DevOps Detroit _.
We are third Thursday, so just letting you know.
Yeah, no competition there.
We've been doing third Thursday. Like I'm very much. I told you we were like religion. Like the podcast gets recorded on Monday night at 9:00. Yeah. The meetup's third Thursday, 5:00. Don't care unless what do we not do it for like Thanksgiving or if it falls on a weird we'll do it on like the fourth Thursday. But anyway, you said something made me laugh before we started recording, and you were like, "It's funny, Bob. Like the people can find jobs through these meetups." And I'm like, no shit, really? Like I had no idea. Are you getting recruiters yet at your events? Are you guys the network? What's the networking like on the job front?
So, with it being the first one, it's kind of early to tell, but from my experience with other past meetups, and other people's experiences sharing to me, like, oh, I just got this job through this connecting within this meetup, or I just just building these relationships, and I know people like, oh, okay, they go to LinkedIn, they're going on to what's the other one? Indeed, yep, Indeed, Dice. I'm not saying I'm not knocking it; they're all great, but the amount of opportunities that's in your face in literally the city and the location that you want to be at is you don't know who has the resource that you need. And I'm not saying you go there and you're just like, oh, this person has to give me something, but you should just go there and just be your authentic self. And like a lot of times people just will help you just because they like you.
See, I always did the paid forward thing naturally. I didn't walk up to people and say, "What problems can I help you solve today?" But I just in natural we could be talking about pizza, and if somebody says, I need something, I always gave it forward. Always try to and then holler at them, to the point now where I have, the bandwidth to help about 2 people a month. If somebody calls and said, "Hey, I need someone to look over their stuff." The job market's tough right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you straight up, if you're a senior in IT, LinkedIn and Indeed is I've sent out 400 resumes and nobody called. It just doesn't work anymore. I remember getting early in my career, I got a job at Hewlett Packard, HP, with a Microsoft template resume submitted on monster.com. And, we used to speak at these workshops and what's the perfect resume? I'm like, the one that gets you a job. I'm like, there isn't anyone that's trying to sell you a perfect anything is trying to sell you something.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what we found out. These resume writers, my only tip was quantify there's people that I know, I was meeting with a bunch of young students and we were talking about even if you're at Taco Bell, you were there 100% of the time on schedule. Your drive-through was 100% within SLA. And they're like, SLA? I'm like, yeah, if your SLA is 3 minutes, let's say you're 99%, you weren't in charge of opening, charge of the money and closing. Those are important things to run a business. People downgrade some of these remedial jobs where, that's my take. Someone might call me a crackhead, but that, I'm thinking it's all numbers. I was, people want to know that you're going to be here on time. People want to know that you're going to have a smile on your face and you're not going to, you're going to adhere to the standards of the company is, wrapped around. So anyway, for IT though, how did you kind of fall into cloud? Was that a passion? Did you start at the help desk like a lot of people? And what was your journey like?
You know what? I did not start in the help desk. I didn't.
One of the few.
Yeah. So
I was straight to the pros, right? That's it's if you're gonna go MBA, that's straight to you got right out of high school into the pros.
I feel a little bit like LeBron and Kobe.
Yeah.
No. I had my own door. So I mean, for instance, I got my degree in finance and accounting. I was at U of M Dearborn. I wanted to major in IT, but I hated school at the time, and I just wanted to just get done.
We all hated school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew that's what my interest was. What I did was I was building a relationship with people who were already working in the field, and I was doing projects with them on the side. And then when I was at work, if there was something that was related technical, I would kind of collaborate and do. by doing that, I'm getting like experience. And from that experience, I could put that on my resume.
Sure.
So I not only could I put that when I'm getting interviewed, I could talk about it like with confidence, and I could say, yeah, I did this, I did. Did they ask what was troubleshooted? I could explain that. And if there's something I didn't understand, I could say, well, I'm not really understanding this, but because of my experience with this other tech stack, I can catch up to this really fast.
Right.
So
you just gave a tip for anyone that's out of work, because we always tell that, like, what are you doing right now? And I always tell people, you're studying for your next certification, and you actually are. Yeah. You have some sort of a Raspberry Pi server. You're doing something, especially if you're extreme techie or you're building stuff in a cloud sandbox. You're telling the story on how you get things done. Like when I used to interview help desk people, there was always like, hey, your last outage, what'd you do? And there was no wrong answer. I just wanted to hear if you dove in and did it all yourself, if you assembled a dream team, or if you called Microsoft support. It tells me exactly who you are. So now it depends on what my team looks like and who I need in that team, right? So that was, a lot of people aren't confident in that answer. They think there's a wrong answer. And it's funny with interviews, there's a lot of times that there's, we just want to know how your style and what you like to do.
Yeah. Another thing I also did, when people called me crazy, I created a YouTube page, and I would just document my projects on video while talking about it, because I figure I could show my communication skills visually, as you could see what I'm doing, and I could talk about it, and you could say, oh, this is cool or this is not. And I think that helped me a lot too.
Again, it's like one of the things we always did was being loud and being out there. Like, it's tough to, if you're putting out your best self, it's tough for people to read between the lines or look otherwise. So where did you start? Were you cloud admin? Like, what was your first IT gig?
So I did an internship where it was like data analytics.
Okay.
And then I moved over a little bit to like QA, and I was working on a cloud platform. It was GCP at that time. Mm-hmm. And then I moved over to AWS and worked with AWS. And from there, I navigated into being a full-fledged cloud engineer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I passed my AZ900 Microsoft Azure Fundamentals course for a sales guy. I'm like, that's about as high as I'm going on the list. But do you for people coming up, like we used to say CompTIA certs to get you in the door. That's for help desk. I don't even think help desk cares anymore about those. Do you have any tips for kids coming up? Like what certs do they need to get?
Yeah. So for me, I didn't do so AWS, they had the cloud practitioner. Yeah. I didn't do that.
I passed it, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. I did the solutions architect associate.
Okay.
But really, I did that one, and then there was Terraform. One that's more so with like automating on cloud, multi-cloud. I would say and some people are very anti-cert. I'm not anti-cert. I'm pro-cert, but I'd say make sure you do like projects alongside with that cert. Mm-hmm. So don't look, I gotta pass this. Look, I gotta learn the information that's like that they're providing in order for me to pass this standard of what they expect in this certification. But I have to do the project, because when you go to the interview, the cert attracts you. That makes you attractive in the interview, but when you're actually the interview, okay, what have you done? Like, what are you doing? And that's where I say, like, don't just focus on the cert, but use the projects, use those things to help you with the cert. It could be, if you're trying to do network, sure, you could do the CompTIA network one, but do a project like that actually involves networking, and if you're trying to do it on the cloud, I'd say create a VPC, create a site-to-site VPN. If someone has a website, try to host that on a private network. Try to build that and and walk through like what you did and document that and rebuild it again.
Fantastic advice, because I always told, like, I'm not a coder, but I always said, I go, if you're walking in and you're trying to land a software dev job and you don't have a full GitHub, like, don't show up. Like, you need, like, where is your code? Where, like, what are you doing? No, it's fantastic advice between that and quantifying. So what are you doing outside of work and outside of networking, and when you're, all the other stuff? What's going on in Detroit?
Just on personal?
Yeah.
You know what? I box. I actually box for the fun of it. I go to a boxing gym. I actually go to 2 different gyms. One is Gold's Gym for boxing.
I was going to say, are you at Kronk?
Yeah, at Kronk. Yeah.
No, the guy that's the president of Kronk used to be the COO of Secure 24.
No way.
Yeah, Paul Body. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he not to sidetrack, he one of my favorite interviews of all time. I was interviewing a long time ago at Secure 24.
Okay.
And I never got asked this question, and it stumped me, and I hated myself because I didn't answer. I messed it up. But he's like, "We know why you're great, Bob. Why do you suck?"
Oh.
And at that time, I think I was like 27, 28. And I'm like, it just completely got me. I was stumped. And then he's like, "What would your best friend say the 3 things about you?" And I should have said fat, drunk, and stupid, but I did. Again, I botched that one. So anyway, I'll never forget Paul because of that. Anyway, I regret. Boxing. So are you just sparring? Are you like you have any aspirations? Like what are you just keeping? You just keep it in shape?
Yeah, I keep it in shape, and I do a lot of sparring.
Yeah, all right.
And then I started judo last month for the fun of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then occasionally, just like dinking around and playing with instruments.
So what you're saying is don't piss you off at a networking event?
No.
That judo thing, man. I saw it was like someone got in it was like altercation. I like watching Karen videos on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
And the guy was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." He's half this guy's size, and he judo hip tossed him and like choked him out.
Wow.
Don't ever mess with someone that got trained in this stuff.
Yeah.
My buddy was a professional wrestler, and now he's taking Taekwondo.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like, and he's like, I go, "Don't do, you can't do the wrestling. They're actually serious. You can't, goof with it." But it's funny just to see these worlds like kind of crossing over.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, like, other than what you're doing personal, what you're doing DevOps, I mean, that's a lot right there, and what you're doing at work. Is there anything next? Are you
I'm actually building an app right now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It should be So I'm doing a pitch for that in Dallas. It's like a conversational language lab app. So like the best way, I don't want to necessarily educate a person. I want to teach you how to learn a language, but the best way to learn a language is actually speaking the language.
Sure.
Okay, forgive you. And I want to build that like social network. And that's what I'm doing, where it's like, hey, I want to learn German. I'm learning German through this app. I want to practice this. How many people around actually knows German? Not that many.
Right.
So that it's just like through this app, you can schedule a time, or you can just get on a call with a user who has experience, who knows German or who knows Italian, and just have, whether it's a 15-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute conversation.
See, that's dope. One of the reasons I love that is we were talking earlier, we both have immigrant parents, and every time I would go to Germany, and I would tell people that and I would speak, my German's half-ass at best, maybe kindergarten German. Yeah. And they would tell me, "I want you to speak American just so I can pick up your dialect in those little small nuance words." Okay. And I'm like, how am I going to practice my damn, and then when you talk German here, like nobody wants, unless you're talking shit about someone, they don't want it, There's no point. So that's cool though, because like, that's one thing. It's like, I grew up around it, and it's, I'm thinking out loud, like, can you replicate that with AI tools? Like,
yeah, I want it to a certain extent. I'm integrating right now. I'm just doing the MVP, the minimum viable product. But I want to add on like the AI side of it, where it's like where you can ask the questions to AI and it can give you sort of answers, and then you can even confirm with the conversation that you're having with the person, where AI can check this and in that instant. But Is AI at the level where it can do all that now? No, it's not.
So
Yeah.
I was at the Microsoft AI tour a couple weeks ago, and there was a guy on stage. He was Italian, and I think he spoke Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, I think French and English.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically, this was a training tool that was multilingual.
Okay.
But he'd become the avatar. So it took a camera shot of him. And then he recorded 3 sentences. And then it would spit out, you could type anything it needed to say in I think it was 70 some odd, 80 some odd languages, 72 languages. And he goes, all right, now I'm going to make him say this. He typed these 3 sentences and he says, I'm going to say, hello, how are you? My name is so-and-so, or whatever. You said a sentence, and the thing typed it out and it said it. And then he went and said it. He goes, how was it? And everybody's like, wait, that was AI first? So and then he goes, I'm going to do Italian now. And he did the same thing. He typed this sentence out. It said it in Italian as him, which is scary because if you look at deep fakes on videos online, this took it to another.
Yeah.
You hope it's being used for good, right? But what I'm saying,
hope.
But what I'm saying is how crazy is that all you have to do is say 3 sentences, and then you have this tool that can basically spit out you, and it sounds just like you in other languages. Like if I would say something in German now, this tool would make me sound like I'm speaking German as an avatar. So it was it was more for train multicultural companies and training videos.
Okay.
But man, I was my jaw was on the ground when I left that. I'm like that,
That is really cool. That's also, I actually tried to do something like that in video, but not with language.
Yeah.
But just more so okay, hey, if I'm trying to do a promotional video, can it just imitate my voice? And it did an almost good job.
Right.
So I think it's on its way to doing a really good job, but to a certain extent, okay, give you an example. Say I want to learn say Egyptian. I think there are certain languages that it still doesn't have the information, or if you Ghana, tree, I still think there's certain information. It still doesn't have the information, but there are certain languages. Yeah, I think it has. It's like Spanish. I think no problem.
But even if you look at American or British or, even I'm sure Egyptian and from Ghana, there's 8-9 different dialects, where you see guys all the time doing the Great Britain accents where there's 13 accents. I'm Welsh, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish.
Yes.
So discerning from that, in picking up the accents, to me, that would be phenomenal as well to do.
That would be really awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
If you look at just in the US, there's probably 12, 13 different dialects. Yeah. It's still English. It's still, American.
That'd be really awesome. Was it text to speech? That'd be cool.
Right. But in those inflections.
Yes, with the correct inflection.
It's never it's either British or English. But English is always it's not even, I don't even know what is it even considered? The news guy English? That's
pretty much received pronunciation.
Yeah. That's even it's not New York, because New York is, that's another language in and of itself. No, I'm fascinated by this stuff. Just did you grow up dual lingual house or I did?
No, actually sucked at it.
Okay, all right. See, now my folks, I don't know how your folks were. My folks were just we're here, we're in America, we're assimilating, you're not learning German, and they were pretty hardcore about it. We went to Germany when I was 5. I came back, I didn't speak English for 2 months, and they were horrified that the neighbors were gonna think we're
my parents struggled with that too.
Even
just trying to catch the dialect of English. I know my mom, she told me her 6 months here in this country, people were talking, even though she could speak, she couldn't understand it.
Yeah. Well, you have to German's like that. So I'll pick up every third word. Now I have to do the sentence in my head, and German's backwards. So the verbs at the end,
mm-hmm.
I didn't go to the store. I to the store went.
Oh, wow.
Right. So now I'm wait a minute, what? And by the third day when I go there, then I finally, I'm when I'm dreaming in it, then I know. But it takes me 3 days to get immersed. So I can't imagine coming here and, and different. What happens if you meet somebody with a Southern drawl?
Yeah.
And now you're wait, what?
What? Yeah.
Because I know I'll end on this when My parents are considered from Schwabia, Southern German, like Bavarian.
Okay.
So it's a Southern accent, like hillbilly.
Okay.
But then they were raised in Austria, and it's a different German dialect again. I can't even describe what. But I learned High German, which is like news guy German, in school. And there's a couple ticks in the middle. So like I'll speak a sentence and I'll have all three in a sentence.
Wow.
And people look at me over there and like, where are you? Like, where are you from? What's your story? Like, and I would explain to them, like, little Austrian, little Schwab, little, I learned Hochdeutsch in school, and they're like, it makes sense.
Okay.
German's terrible. And I start laughing. So, so DevOps Detroit on Meetup.
Yeah.
That's how I get to meet you. And you're going to show up. You're not quitting our meetups, are you?
No, definitely not.
I was going to say.
Don't bully. that was a bully tactic right there.
It totally was. You show up, start your own, and then you never see you again. No, we better see you. Umelo, it was awesome hanging out with you, man. Cool to learn your story. Appreciate the tips for everybody coming up. And we'll put your LinkedIn on the meetup notes so we can find you online.
All right, awesome.
And we'll thank you again for hanging out with us.
All right, thank you for having me.
Awesome. That's going to wrap up the show, the IT and the D show. I did it again, Randy. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.